Have you ever wondered why your doctor recommends fish, yet your blood pressure keeps creeping upward? What if I told you that the very fish many seniors believe to be heart healthy may actually be raising their risk of stroke? If you're over 60 and you eat fish thinking it's doing you good, you need to listen closely and stay with this because in the next 15 minutes, you'll understand how to protect yourself. And I'll reveal 5 of the safest fish choices to eat going forward. Let's start with a quick challenge scroll back through your week and check how many times you ate fish thinking it was a safe choice. It's like, yeah, many men and women over 60 make this assumption without realizing the hidden dangers. We've all heard that fish keeps your arteries clean and your brain sharp, but the shocking truth is some types of fish, especially those consumed regularly by older adults, can quietly increase inflammation, thicken your arteries, and raise blood pressure, all major contributors to stroke. Each year in the US, more than 800,000 people suffer a stroke, and among adults over 60, one of the most overlooked contributors isn't sugar, salt, or red meat. It's the wrong kind of fish. So before you take another bite, consider this your next fill. It might be doing more harm than good. Now, let me tell you this story. I spoke with a gentleman, 68 years old, who proudly said he ate fish every day for his heart. Yet his blood pressure suddenly surged, and he found himself in the emergency room with stroke-like symptoms. The catch: his favorite fish, one he thought was helping him, turned out to be loaded with mercury and sodium. In short, he wasn't protecting his heart. He was damaging it. Here's what you need to know. Some fish are rich in protective omega-3s, which reduce inflammation and improve circulation. Others, however, are high in mercury, sodium, or industrial toxins. And these can thicken your blood, stiffen your arteries, and silently escalate stroke risk. Let's dive into the first example: farm-raised salmon. Many of you may eat salmon weekly, believing it's the ultimate heart-healthy choice, but not all salmon is equal. What you buy in many supermarkets, labeled farmed, often comes from crowded fish pens and is fed processed pellets. This affects its composition. Farmed salmon may contain far more omega-6 fats, which are inflammatory, more saturated fat, and dangerous pollutants like PCBs and dioxins than wild-caught salmon. One study found PCB levels in farmed salmon to be 8 times higher than in wild fish. The result: regular consumption of farmed salmon may actually damage your arteries and raise long-term cardiovascular risk. Contrast that with wild-caught Alaskan salmon, especially sockeye or coho. These live in cold, clean waters, eat a natural diet, and consistently carry lower levels of toxins. For those who switched from farm to wild varieties, inflammation markers dropped and blood pressure improved. So when you're at the store, check the label. Prefer wild caught over farmed. Limit salmon to 1 or 2 servings per week. If you like smoked salmon, choose low sodium and wild caught versions. Next up, tilapia. This low-cost, mild-flavored fish is abundant in U.S. grocery stores, and many older adults assume it's a smart, lean protein choice. Here's the problem: most tilapia is farmed, often in overcrowded ponds overseas, fed corn, soy, and even animal byproducts. The result is a fish high in omega-6 fats and low in omega-3s, a nutritional profile worse than bacon in terms of inflammation potential. Research from Wake Forest University noted that tilapia might actually worsen cardiovascular and stroke risk in some people. So if you enjoy whitefish regularly, steer toward wild-caught cod, halibut, or trout instead. Then there's canned tuna, a pantry staple, especially for seniors because it's convenient and inexpensive, but too many don't realize the risk. Larger tuna species, like albacore or white tuna, can contain dangerously high mercury levels, and canned versions often carry high sodium. Mercury accumulates in your tissues and damages your arteries and brain over time. Elevated blood mercury is linked with significant jump in cardiovascular death risk. One small can of tuna packed in brine may already hold 300 to 500 milligrams sodium, a quarter of your daily limit. For someone managing blood pressure, that's a hidden trap. The better choice: Go for light tuna, packed in water from smaller fish, and check for low sodium, and rotate in sardines or wild salmon to cut down mercury exposure. Onto swordfish, this might appear on your menu as a premium, lean, meaty steak, but it's among the most mercury-contaminated fish around. As an apex predator with a long lifespan, swordfish accumulates methylmercury in high concentrations. For seniors, that's a serious issue. Mercury damages the inner lining of your arteries. Endothelium raises oxidative stress, elevates blood pressure, and impairs brain function. One study in the Journal of the American Heart Association found people with high their blood, mercury had nearly a 70% greater chance of stroke or cardiac event. If you've eaten swordfish regularly, ask your doctor about mercury testing. Better yet, avoid it altogether and choose smaller fish like sardines or anchovies. The sixth concern is smoked fish. Smoked salmon, trout, herring all may seem like refined, light meals. However, the smoking process involves heavy use of salt, 600 to 800 milligrams or more per 3-ounce serving, plus nitrites, nitrates, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, from high heat smoking. These chemicals promote inflammation, elevate blood pressure, and increase stroke risk. One 2020 study found older adults who ate high sodium processed fish had a 43% greater risk of hypertension and nearly double the risk of stroke compared to those eating fresh fish regularly. So treat smoked fish as an occasional luxury, not a daily habit. Rinse or soak it before eating, choose wild-caught, unsalted versions, and limit how often you consume it. Next is fried fish and fish sticks, the convenient, healthy fast meal. The issue isn't the fish itself, but how it's prepared. Breaded and deep-fried fish loses the beneficial omega-3 fats, absorbs trans fats and oxidized oils, and becomes a vehicle for artery-damaging compounds. In a large 20-year study of over 100,000 adults, older people eating fried fish more than once per week had a 48% higher stroke risk and 37% higher risk of heart failure compared to those eating less than once per month. A crispy fillet may look harmless, but once your arteries take the hit, the illusion ends. Make the healthier swap grill, bake or steam your fish. If you crave crunch, try coating with oats, almond flour, or flaxseed, then bake. Number 8, Atlantic cod. Beloved as a mild, lean fish, but much of it now comes from industrial farms or overfished waters, and may carry heavy metals like mercury, cadmium, or lead, as well as microplastics. Many frozen cod fillets are Atlantic and farmed, high in omega-6 fats and low in omega-3s, and treated with antibiotics or antifungals. One study found over 60% of Atlantic cod samples exceeded safe limits for frequent consumption in older adults. A retiree who switched from farmed Atlantic cod to wild Pacific cod saw improvements in inflammation markers within months. The takeaway: choose wild Pacific cod or a hake and avoid breaded Atlantic varieties. Number 9, catfish, a southern comfort favorite, but today's conventionally farmed catfish often comes from crowded ponds, poor water quality, and feed high in corn and soy. These fish carry higher omega-6, omega-3 ratios, more saturated fat, and sometimes antibiotic or chemical residues. One analysis found farmed catfish had up to 4 times more omega-6 than omega-3, a ratio strongly linked to inflammation and arterial stiffness. A man in his 70s who ate fried catfish regularly suffered a mild stroke despite no red meat habit. When he switched to baked trout and sardines, his inflammation dropped in 3 months. If you enjoy catfish, look for wild-caught or U.S. farm-raised, antibiotic-free versions. Grill or bake rather than fry, and pair with vegetables that offset sodium and inflammation. Finally, number 10, sardines in oil or salted form. Fresh sardines are among the best possible choices. Small fish, low mercury, rich in omega-3s, vitamin D, and calcium. But when packed in oil or brine and canned, they can become a trap. Some cans hold 400 to 600 milligrams sodium per serving, use refined oils high in omega-6 fats, or contain traces of BPA from can linings. A 2021 study found seniors eating high sodium canned fish more than twice weekly had 40% greater risk of hypertension than those eating fresh low sodium fish. A 76-year-old woman who ate sardines and oil 3 times a week and avoided salt still had high blood pressure. Switching to water-packed sardines and vegetables saw her BP normalize in 2 months. For safe use, pick sardines packed in water or extra virgin olive oil, rinse before eating, avoid flavored varieties, and limit to once or twice weekly.